So far, we got to know that sound is produced by vibrations. Sound needs a medium to propagate. It can travel through solids, liquids, and gases. Now, the question is, how do we hear sound? Sound is getting produced from some object, but how are we able to hear it? With the help of ears. Yes, that is the simplest answer, but how is our ears that much able to interpret sound waves? Or why is that only our ears has an ability to hear? So for that, we'll have to gain some understanding of the human ear. So let's do that. So ear is the sensitive organ which enables us to hear the sounds around us. So ear is the only organ which helps us to hear. So let's quickly look at the different parts of ear so that we will be able to understand how it helps us to hear. So the various auditory parts, that means those parts of ear which helps us in hearing. The entire structure of ear is divided into three parts: outer ear, middle ear, and the inner ear. So outer ear is definitely the outer part which we see from outside. It's called as pinna. So from outer ear starts the from outer ear it's the part which we see from outside, and so from outer ear starts the auditory canal. This is a tube-like structure which goes deep inside. If you put your little finger inside your ear, you can actually see a tunnel-like thing. But don't do that. But I'm trying to say that where you put your finger inside, that is where your auditory canal starts, and this canal goes deep inside and it reaches the eardrum. This green color structure with some membrane like called the eardrum or tympanic membrane. Now beyond this membrane starts the middle ear, the red color structure. So what's present in the middle ear? This middle ear consists of three bones: hammer, inwell, and stirrup, or you can see malleus, incus, and stapes. These are three names of these three bones. So middle ear is a bony in nature. And then if we go deeper inside, we reach the inner ear, the purple colored structure. In inner ear, we have coil-like structure called cochlea. Beyond that, we have the auditory nerves. These are coming out from ear and reach to brain and connects ear to brain, because ear helps you to perceive the sound. But how do you understand what you are hearing? Suppose your friend is calling by your name, so your ear will help you to listen to what he say he's telling you come here, so your ear will help you to listen these two words. But how do you interpret come here? How do you interpret its meaning? So you will be able to interpret it with the help of your brain. So there has to be a connection between your ear and the brain, and that connection is developed by the auditory nerves. So these are the different parts of the ear. Now we will talk about the function of each part. So let's start with the outer ear, that is pinna. Its purpose is to collect sound waves from the surrounding. So obviously this is the outermost part, so its job is to collect all the sound from the surrounding, and then it will send it inside through the auditory canal. Through this auditory canal, sound passes towards the eardrum. As I told you, sound will enter through the outer ear and then it will travel through the auditory canal and it will finally reach the eardrum. Now, as I mentioned before, our eardrum is a membrane. And you remember the musical instruments like dholak, tabla, where we had a membrane which was a stretched membrane, and because it vibrated, right? Whenever someone strikes it. So in a similar way here also, the sound waves reach the eardrum, and eardrum being a membrane, it starts to vibrate, and this vibration of this eardrum, and that is what it gets carried away inside the ear to the inner ear. And these vibrations are critical. That means the eardrum plays a very important role in the process of hearing. That is why eardrum needs a lot of protection, because it's the most vital part of ear, which plays an important role in the process of hearing. So we can say that vibrating part of human ear is the eardrum, which is like a stretched membrane. Let's see what exactly happens at the eardrum. Now we take an example. This example will help us to understand what happens at the eardrum. Let's suppose you have a can such that you have removed the top and bottom of can. It's just cylinder which is open from top as well as bottom. Now you take a rubber kind of stretchable substance and you cover the top of the can. maybe with rubber band you just tie it up so that it gets stretched. It's like a stretched memory now. Now you keep few grain seeds over it. Bottom side is open now. You speak something on this side, on bottom side, and see what happens. The sound waves reach this membrane, and this membrane being a stretched membrane, it starts vibrating. And how do you know it's vibrating? Because these grain, they start jumping. They also start vibrating with the membrane. This shows that when sound waves reach a stretched membrane, the membrane starts vibrating, and a similar thing happens in the case of eardrum. When the sound waves reach the eardrum also starts to vibrate. Now, what happens due to these vibrations? Now, vibrations means the compressions and rarefactions will happen, right? Compressions, means dense areas where the particles are close, and rarefactions are the less dense areas where the particles are far. These wave-like structures are being formed. So that's how you get the sound waves. That's how your ear perceives the sound waves. So vibration of the eardrum is the most important thing that happens during this process of hearing. Now eardrum starts vibrating. That is how your ear got the characteristics of sound wave. Now how will it enter into the inner ear? So on the next part comes the middle ear. Now the middle ear will receive the vibrations. And what will it do? It just amplify the vibrations, because the vibrations are going like less noticeable. So these vibrations get amplified by middle ear. And in middle ear, we have three bones which help in this amplification. What are the three bones? Malleus, incus, and stapes. These three bones together form the middle ear, and they together help in the amplification of the eardrum vibrations. Now, once the vibrations are amplified, then they reach the inner ear. Now, in this part, the vibrations are converted into electrical signals, because the vibrations need to be sent to the brain so that a brain can interpret what you are hearing and send it back to you. So how do you send those waves to brain? So you cannot send it as it is, right? So the vibrations need to be converted into some electrical signals to the brain, and then the brain will respond back, and that's how you will be able to understand what you heard. So that's how it works. So these conversions of vibrations into electrical signals takes place in the inner ear, and then with the help of auditory nerves it is sent to the brain. So that's how the entire process of hearing takes place. So we saw how important air is. Without air we will not be able to hear any of the sounds which are produced around us. So therefore it's extremely important that this sense organ is well protected. So what are some of the things that we can take care in order to ensure that the air is well protected? One such thing is, don't listen to music too loud for too long, because if the music is too loud, then sound waves are directly hitting the eardrum. So there are chances that eardrum might get adversely impacted. Another one, prefer muff type headphones over earbud style ones. Now you have seen that there are two types of headphones available. Muff type, they are safer because they are not in direct contact with your eardrum. Muff type is these are the muff type headphones. These are safer because they are not in direct contact with your eardrum. The other type is one like small thing that's inserted inside the ear. So that should be less preferred because they are in direct touch with eardrum. Next, do not use sharp and hard objects like pin to clean your ear, because they can easily damage the eardrum. And try to use the soft buds to clean your ear. This was all about the function of human ear. And now I hope you are able to understand how we are able to perceive sounds, interpret sounds.